Johnny Sauter's going to do it, punching the ticket to Homestead. He'll race for the championship.
These guys will be able to run wide open.
Yeah, copy. Yes, sir.
The trucks are at Texas Motor Speedway.
Take care of our stuff. Hey, man, 10-4. We got a green truck under us, so we'll keep it safe down pit road. Ready. Ready. Curl truck, goes bottom. Go.
Here comes that 3 wide you were talking about.
Ah, yes, everything is bigger in Texas. So fitting for the chase. This race is a big one. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. It's chase race number 5. And it's a critical race for Ben Kennedy. 6 drivers left in the chase, and he's in the 6th position. No room for error tonight. Timothy Peters is in a better position, especially after rallying for a top 5 last week. No driver has scored more points on the mile-and-a-half tracks this season. Peters needs another Texas-sized performance this evening. You don't have to be in the chase to have a big opportunity. Over the years, 5 drivers have scored their first career win here at Texas. Daniel Hemrick hopes to add his name to the list tonight. He got knocked from the chase in round 1, but a win here would ease the pain. GMS Racing has won the last 2 races with 2 different drivers. Can Spencer Gallagher make it 3 in a row? Runner-up 2 weeks ago. Tonight could be the night he scores his first career win. His effort begins from the pole. It's Texas. It's the chase. Big stories, big race. And for more on a couple of chasers hoping for a big night, we check in with our pit reporters, Hermie Sadler and Caitlin Vincey.
Well, Vince, William Byron is the defending race winner here at Texas Motor Speedway, and he told me just a bit ago a lot of confidence coming into tonight's event. He said, I know exactly what it takes to get a win here at Texas. Now, he told me last week at Martinsville Speedway, he actually stalled out on pit road. So this week at the race shop, that was an area he worked on pit stops, working with those pedals to ensure that does not happen again. But spirits high for this 9 group, looking for another Texas win. He starts 3rd. Hermie?
Caitlin, Matt Crafton is the only back-to-back champion in Camping World Truck Series history. If he wants to win the chase, he'll need to rebound from a 17th place finish at Martinsville last weekend. The good news, he's a 2-time winner at Texas, and he finished 2nd here in June. We'll see if they can produce and advance. Let's go trackside to pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the United States Army Reserve 2nd Battalion, 354th Regiment, 95th Division from Grand Prairie, Texas, presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Texas Alliance Raceway Ministries Chaplain, Dr. Roger Marsh, offers our invocation.
Heavenly Father, it's with great excitement that we gather here at the Great American Speedway this evening to enjoy the thrill of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing. Father, we're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in this great nation. We ask you, Lord, to be with those around the world and at home who protect us and guard those freedoms. And now, Father, we come to you in prayer. We lift up these great fans, and we thank you for them. We pray for these competitive teams that you'd keep them safe, and we thank you for the generosity of the sponsors who make it possible. Guide and direct and lead us now in tonight's event. In Jesus' name I pray it. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Elise Howard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does
Get those kisses and well wishes. It's time to go to work. The trucks are in Texas. Hopes of a championship on the line. Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The trucks racing here for the 38th time. No track has hosted more Truck Series events than Texas Motor Speedway, and it is a big night for the Truck Series. The chase is underway. This is race number 2 of round 2. 6 drivers, all in the hunt for the championship. One of those punched his ticket last week, Johnny Sauter winning at Martinsville. Who's going to do it tonight? Or maybe somebody that's not in the chase gets their first career win. Glad to have you with us tonight. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. There's a lot of drama, and you can feel it down in the garage area. Phil, we got a lot to look forward to tonight.
Vince, I love this format. I love the fact that there are 5 drivers trying to do exactly what Johnny Sauter did at Martinsville last weekend. We've got a couple guys, though, with some issues. We have Ben Kennedy. He was running in the top 10 at Martinsville. He got turned around late. You see him 10 points back. Matt Crafton had brake issues at Martinsville. You see him, he's 9 points back. So those 2 guys have a little bit of work to do. But the beautiful thing is as we take a look at Ben Kennedy right there, he's a guy, his truck wasn't quite as good in practice as I think he wanted it to be, but he's got some great GMS teammates. He should be pretty good. Matt Crafton has already stumbled a bit he had a change in engine after practice, although he did qualify up in the top 10 with this engine, so he should be good to go. But these guys are all trying to do exactly what Johnny Sauter did at Martinsville and punch their way into the chase or punch their way into the Homestead. But, Michael, they know that at least one guy will be able to point his way in.
Yeah, but if you're that guy trying to point your way in, you're kind of depending on other people not to succeed. The wrong guy wins at the wrong time, your points go out the window. So the format is win and you go to Miami, and I think that's exactly what someone has to do here tonight. And what a great racetrack we have for that. Look at Rico Abreu marching his way through the field late in the race here in June. Around second place, Matt Crafton. He's using that high groove, and then he charges up and catches William Byron. William moves up, makes Rico overshoot the corner, and into the wall he goes. I'm just telling you, Phil, in baseball, you're supposed to hit them where they're not. And in NASCAR here at Texas, you go where they aren't, and you can go all over this place.
It's a fast track. 4 of the 6 fastest races in series history have been held here. Let's get it going.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the reason that we are here. Giving the command to start engines for tonight's race from Striping Technology is Linda Rudd.
Drivers, start your engine!
6 drivers chasing a championship, 26 others with an agenda of their own. Those 2 paths are about to intersect. Texas Motor Speedway, it's the chase for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, the first chase ever for this series, and it has been exciting so far, and we expect it to continue on a bad, fast racetrack. It's a good one as we take a look at the Camping World track description.
Yeah, you see the turns are banked 24 degrees. This is a fast 1.5 miles here. This racetrack is about 60 feet wide. The front straightaway is 2,200 feet. And these guys, Michael, will run wide open for a few laps, and they will be all over that 60 feet.
Yeah, and the track description just sets up for a great race tonight. Here's the race analysis. We've got 147 laps, 220 miles. Our caution clock, or competition clock as I like to call it, will expire around lap 37 to 39. The caution will fly if we haven't had one to that point. The fuel window is somewhere around 50 to 55 laps. And last November, Eric Jones took his Toyota to victory lane.
And that Eric Jones team is now the team that William Byron drives for. Byron won this race in June. As we take a look at our starting lineup, Spencer Gallagher on pole for the 2nd time in his career. There's William Byron. He'll start on the inside of row 2.
Matt, that 11 truck is still in the hunt for the owner championship.
Yeah, he's right up there with a great qualifying run. There's Crafton. You talked about his engine trouble. Ben Rhodes was really fast in practice, as was Christopher Bell.
Cody Coughlin subbing for John West Townley this week, who's injured. Ben Kennedy, another one of our chasers, won earlier this season at Bristol. Johnny Sauter, he'll race for the championship at Homestead after winning last week at Martinsville.
Cameron Haley, a couple of runner-up finishes here in the series, looks for win number 1.
Austin Dillon won the pole for the Cup race in Cup qualifying earlier today. Good to see him in the truck race tonight.
That's how competitive this field is. Austin Dillon, row 11. He just won the pole for the Cup race. For this truck race, he's in row 11.
32 drivers in the field tonight. Take a look at those onboard cameras. Got some great looks.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with one of our chasers here, Ben Kennedy. That's a Jacob Chevrolet, and Ben's going to start from the 14th spot here. Needs to move forward.
Let's go up to the 7th starting spot and hop on board with Matt Crafton. Matt has 2 wins here at Texas. He won in this very truck earlier this year at Charlotte and was second with it here in the spring. Good truck, great driver. Should see some good things from Matt.
Let's check out the Ford on board of Tyler Reddick. Remember, he was a spoiler at Las Vegas. He won that race, didn't qualify for the chase. He's in a Cooper Standard Ford, and he starts from the 2nd row, spot number 3.
Hop on board with William Byron in the Liberty University Toyota. He's won 6 times this year, but Phil, he might need 2 more wins to be our champion. We'll find out today. He rose from that 2nd row.
Well, and as you guys mentioned just a couple of weeks ago, Tyler Reddick got to victory lane at Las Vegas. For more on his story, let's check in with Caitlin.
Yeah, Vince, certainly Tyler Reddick could be one of the drivers who plays the role of a chase spoiler. Now, he's been very good at Texas. He finished 5th the last 2 times he was here, qualified within the top 5. And he won at Las Vegas, as we mentioned earlier. He's brought that same winning truck to compete here this evening, and I spoke with his crew chief, Doug Randolph, just a bit ago, and he told me every time Tyler walks into Texas Motor Speedway, he just has a lot of confidence. So certainly Tyler could be one of the guys who steals a win away from one of the chasers and gets his 2nd win this season. Hermie?
Well, Caitlin, Johnny Sauter took care of business last weekend at Martinsville Speedway, taking the checkered flag. He will race for a championship at Homestead, regardless of what happens tonight at Texas or next week at Phoenix. They're going to race for a championship. Now, you may wonder, how will they approach tonight's race at Texas? Well, they brought the truck that you see right there is the truck that they plan to race at Homestead. They came in with an experimental setup. It did not work. They put a traditional setup in. This truck also has more downforce than some of the other trucks. They think, maybe not for qualifying, but for a race condition, that truck will be what they need tonight and possibly at Homestead. So this 21 truck tonight, somewhat of a test tonight at Texas to see if it'll be the bullet they use to try to win a championship at Homestead.
Well, he's probably the only one, certainly the only one of the chasers that's resting easy, because he knows that he's going to have a shot at the title and that big trophy in a couple of weeks at Homestead. The others, they're not so certain. Get through tonight, and then here is what's ahead for them. The final race in round 2 of the chase comes your way next week at Phoenix. So tonight on the 1.5 mile here at Texas, then we go to the desert and race at Phoenix, and the championship will be decided at Homestead.
What a great round. We had the 1/2 mile at Martinsville, the 1.5 mile here at Texas, and then we go to Phoenix for that kidney-shaped 1 mile oval, then on to Homestead for the finale.
You know, the great thing about Homestead, it's shaped differently, obviously, than Texas, but the grip level, I think these 2 places race a lot alike. You'll see guys racing right out next to the wall here tonight. They'll do the same thing in our season finale down in Florida. So a great track for someone like Johnny Sauter, especially. Do a little bit of experimenting, try some things that they think they might take to Florida and be successful with.
Well, and this is a great track for Matt Crafton as well. He's won here a couple of times already. Here was the radio communication from that 88 team.
Get tough tonight. Came here to do one thing, boys. All right, no mistakes. Wear me out all night, Crafton. Get these guys.
Sir, be smart all night. Be there at the end. Kick their butts and say some names and go get some cowboy hats. Thank you guys again for bringing Hot Rod.
Well, Matt Crafton, every reason to be confident. He led 130 plus laps here when we raced in June, but didn't get the win. He finished 2nd.
What he was telling his crew chief, Junior Joyner was telling him was, wear me out, get me information, let me help you, tell me what that truck's doing all the time, and we'll get her fixed up.
That team was really happy with that truck in our practice this morning. They were really fast, so look for Matt to charge to the front in a hurry.
Spencer Gallagher won the pole earlier today in qualifying, his 2nd career pole. He's chosen the outside lane to start this race. That's Gallagher in the 23. Daniel Hemrick on the inside of the 19. Spins the tires a bit. We're racing at Texas.
How about William Byron jumping to the outside, following the 11 of Tift. Look at Timothy Peters making it 3 wide.
Phil, Timothy Peters said he's not on the outside. I am. I'm going to take him 3 wide on lap 1. You see this mad rush here at the beginning of this race. Remember, these truck races are shorter. They don't have the time to strategize and hang around. They got to hit the gas and go early.
Hemrick has recovered from spinning the tires on that start to slide back into second place. A good battle for third between Tift and Hemrick's teammate, Tyler Reddick, in that 29. 2 wide and sometimes 3 wide is you go a little further back in the pack.
Oh, those trucks sparking over the tunnel over there is pretty bumpy in that area of the racetrack.
Yeah, and Phil, you know this. These tire pressures aren't up to where they need to be. They're not at their perfect operating pressures yet. When they're side by side this early in the race, man, that's a tough row to hold down on the bottom. You really got to be careful. The bottom truck wants to get loose. The air is taken off the bottom truck. He could spin out, get sideways, and crash someone.
What about the guy in the middle?
Well, he knows he's in trouble, so he goes in there a little more cautiously. And to take it easy, if you're on the outside, you just go for it. Like you see the 71 truck of Austin Dillon. We know his experience level. He likes it up there already.
Drivers all over the track, and still the battle continues between that 11 of Matt Tift and the 29 of Tyler Reddick as they fight for third, and Timothy Peters getting in it from the outside, going around the top.
Well, Timothy Peters likes that outside, doesn't he?
How'd you like to be Matt Tift? He thought he was racing for third. Now he finds himself racing for 7th. He just is falling back through the field. But that's how quick it can happen here.
Looks like a problem for the 81 of Ryan Truex.
Little tire rub on the left front, it looks like.
Yeah, it won't take much of that, Phil. That tire will blow out. If it blows out, it'll cause a lot of damage to that 81 truck. He'd be wise this early to get to pit road, get that fender pulled out.
These guys are running some fast lap times here. Our leaders are faster than qualifying.
Truex is headed to pit road, Mike, just as you suggested.
Well, I like that, Vince. So easy for a team to make a decision and think that tire will clearance itself from that fender. That's not going to happen, and that's early enough he can overcome this. He was running 17th. He's going to lose a lap, but he can overcome this, get a free pass, and get back in the game.
One of the things that drivers like about this racetrack is the fact that you can move into different grooves, run different lanes. They like the fact that the surface is worn out. You're going to slip and slide. The tires are going to give a little bit. It sets up perfectly for a dramatic race.
Certainly does. There's 3 chasers racing together right here. That's Johnny Sauter, the 21, making the pass on Crafton, that yellow truck right in front of Ben Kennedy.
You know, I said Crafton would charge early. Well, he's falling back. He's going the wrong way, all the way down to 10th. Now falling back to 11th. And think about this, Phil. I talked to a lot of the crew chiefs in the garage area. They think throughout the night, as you look at the points as they're running right now, Crafton and Kennedy still in the bind. Think about this. They think this track will get freer and freer as the night marches on. So if your truck is a little bit tight right now, if it's not exactly like you want it in the turns, you could overcome that later if the track does change like these crew chiefs think it will.
One of the things about Crafton and Kennedy being 15, 17 points out, not that you can't make up those positions in a couple of races, but it just really emphasizes how much they need to cut into that deficit tonight so they're within striking distance next week. They don't have to eat it all up tonight, but they got to cut into it to have a shot at it legitimately next week.
Yeah, they had their 1 mulligan last week. No more mulligans for these guys. They have to make it happen here, just like Timothy Peters did at Martinsville. Way back, started 19th and ended up with a top 5 finish.
Great strong move there by Christopher Bell. He got on the inside of his teammate William Byron. Byron did a nice job, gave Bell a lot of room down in the corner. As you can see, Peters is up the hill quite a lot, and that's opened the door for Bell to try to make the move on Peters, but I think he's going to stall out right there.
You really get that momentum from the high side. Timothy Peters, it's the longer way around, but you really have that momentum on exit, and it carries you down the straightaway.
Christopher Bell in the 4 truck, William Byron in the 9. They're teammates for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Byron has been the star of the series this year, just 18 years old. He's won 6 times, really making the headlines. But it's been Bell actually in the chase who's been a little bit better. Even though Byron has 1 win in the chase, Bell has scored the most overall points. These are 2 drivers that are teammates that could very well be battling for the championship against one another in a couple of weeks.
Wow, what a nice move by Bell there. Got a good run, cut to the bottom off the corner, and is going to pass by Peters. William Byron's trying to follow his teammate to the front.
Hanging right around the top 5, Byron and Bell. Early stages. Look at a little debris getting the clock, getting the camera on the William Byron truck. Spencer Gallagher leading at Texas. Daniel Hemrick running second. Two drivers who aren't in the chase and battling for a championship, but that 4 truck of Christopher Bell certainly is. Bell into the top 5.
I just love the way this Ford truck looks. Talked to crew chief Jerry Baxter down in the garage. They were very confident. Phil, they went out and made their first run to the top of the sheet, the fastest truck in town. They came in, they checked their travels, they checked their clearances. All I saw was a bunch of thumbs up. Thumbs up, this is good, that's good, this is good. I grabbed Baxter, I said, if it's all that good after one run, what are y'all gonna do the rest of this hour? He said, we're gonna tinker with it.
Matt Crafton in that 88 is running 9th. Hermie?
Vince Crafton qualified 7th, dropped back to 11th in the first 5 laps. Truck was really, really loose, especially in the center of the corner. Could not get the throttle back down, center exit. But as they've run in this run, the truck is slowly starting to come back to he's back up to 9th. But they'll have to work on the short run speed after they adjust the 88 on pit road.
Thank you, Hermie. And then right behind the 88 is the 81 of Ryan Truex, who we saw come to pit road a short while ago with that tire rub. And then when he came to pit road, he was penalized for driving through too many boxes on exit. Here's what caused the rub.
Yeah, he's going to get squeezed into the wall by the 05 truck of Cody Coughlin. Cody actually made contact with the outside wall as well. He's down to the 29th spot, but 3 laps down now for Ryan Truex.
Yeah, that penalty just added insult to injury.
Yeah, that's a tough break. He had a good truck in practice earlier today, but that's going to put him out of contention for the evening. I don't think there's any way really to get enough breaks to get 3 laps back. We've already lapped a couple of trucks have gone a lap down, Jennifer Jo Cobb and Norm Benning, so they would benefit from the free pass now and not Ryan Truex.
And that truck right there, that 21 truck with Johnny Sauter, is flying, guys. He started back in the 16th spot, and now he's racing for a top 5. William Byron was just able to get by our Ford onboard of Tyler Reddick. Johnny Sauter trying to do the same thing.
And I like the way he's passing them. We know there's free grip up top. These guys can go up there and make some good runs, but he's just been dead right on the bottom of the racetrack, Phil, and that's a really hard way to make moves, to make passes. You can get beside drivers like that, but to complete that pass off the corner is something that's very hard to do, and he's been able to do it.
Well, they said Sauter had a long run truck. He'd get better as the run went on, and he certainly is showing that speed here 18 laps in.
And I talked about this place driving a whole lot like Miami grip-wise. This could be a good sign for this team as they think about a championship.
Yeah, and Hermie mentioned earlier, this is the truck that they want to take to Homestead in a couple weeks.
Look at how deep he's able to drive in the corner and keep that truck right on that white line. If you're William Byron or some of these other competitors and you see him doing that, it makes you jealous. You're envious. How do you got that truck tuned up like that?
Here's Austin Dillon in that 71 starting to work his way up through the field after the poor qualifying effort. He's now cracked the top 10.
Remember, he started all the way back in the 11th row. He's been the guy that went to the top just about before anybody and making some good time.
Yeah, I talked about the free grip. Well, if you're experienced like Austin Dillon is, you can really take advantage of that. These other racers are liking the bottom right now, but if they see Dillon coming, they'll know they have to go up there like we saw Rico Abreu in the spring, make all those passes on the high side.
William Byron running in 4th. You see him there in the 9 truck. And not only did Byron win here in June, he is driving tonight the truck that won here this race last November with Eric Jones holding the wheel. And this truck in itself is a great story. I mean, it's the winningest truck in that entire fleet.
It's amazing. This truck has won 10 Truck Series races. And William Byron's trying to make it 11 tonight.
So it just must be the truck, right?
Well, or that team, certainly.
And a combination of a very talented 18-year-old behind the wheel.
As well as the other drivers that have taken that truck to victory lane. As Austin Dillon, the 71, goes by Matt Crafton to take over 9th.
And you see in the top left hand of our screen, the caution clock has ticked down under 9 minutes halfway through. So in another probably, 15 laps, Phil, we'll run out of time on our competition clock, and we'll see a caution. I like this battle. Gallagher's been able to hold him off, but Hemrick hasn't gone anywhere.
We saw Hemrick running the top side early on, trying to figure out a way to get by Spencer. Now they flip-flop that.
Hemrick took a look, can't make a move. Gallagher has led them all so far tonight here in Texas. No change at the front here at Texas. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Spencer Gallagher in that blue and yellow 23 has led them all so far here tonight, just crossing the line, 28 laps down. Gallagher has led every one of them. Already has led more laps tonight than he's led in his entire career leading into tonight.
He's been fun to watch, Vince. He got loose down on the bottom of the track a couple of laps ago, went straight to the wall for a couple of laps, pulled away from second place running Daniel Hemrick, and now he's gotten back to the bottom on one end. He's just switching it up. I like that strategy, Phil. You need to know what your truck's going to do if you have to go to other lanes on the racetrack.
And the thing I like as we watch the battle for third, there's Christopher Bell, the 4 truck in third, his teammate William Byron right behind him in the 9 truck in fourth. I love the fact that we're within 5 minutes of the caution clock and Spencer Gallagher's truck is still underneath him.
How about that 4 truck? What are they saying, Caitlin?
Things are so far so good, and actually when you look at the chase as a whole for Christopher Bell, he has been very strong. He's actually had the best average finish of all the chasers with a 4.5, and right now he is the highest running chaser. His team offering some words of encouragement to him.
Hey, you guys are doing exactly what you need to be doing here. Don't be too hard on them tires. Long ways to go, and plenty of time to work on it here. We're the highest chase truck, so don't push it too hard here. Those leaders, don't worry about them.
And crew chief Jerry Baxter said earlier, he said, I think this whole team is really just peaking at the right time. Chris has had a nice stretch of races. He's taken care of his equipment, had solid finishes, and right now he is currently running third.
Well, it's already been a better night for the 4 of Christopher Bell than it was here in June. Remember, he missed the shift on the green drop of the green flag, never made it to turn 1.
I was talking to Jerry Baxter. He said, I really don't know what happened. He said, I was at the airport when the race ended last time.
Trouble. We got a flat tire on the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins.
All right, come on down, come on down.
Will that bring out the yellow, or is he going to get off track and get to pit road?
Yeah, track officials
taking a look,
checking the racetrack.
Good with it.
I think he might have gotten the outside wall. He said he was a little bit loose. You see the damage he did flat side that Diamond Gusset truck.
And there's no flats on that right side. Maybe the right front's flat now, but it looked, judging from what he said, he got loose and got up into the outside wall.
He was running 27th, was a lap down. As you see, still under green. The caution clock approaching 3 minutes. You know, you guys talked about the window for the caution clock at about 38 laps, give or take. In June here, we had a green flag run of 88 laps. Or last year, I should say, we had a green flag run of 88 laps. But with the caution clock now, it really changes the strategy and the dynamic of the race.
It certainly does, because they know they're going to be able to make some adjustments at 38 laps, and under caution, they can have a little more time to do it.
Here's the 44 of Tommy Joe Martins. What happened?
We overheard him on the radio saying he just got a little bit loose, got up a little bit too high, and got that truck into the outside wall.
Pretty hard contact, too. He'll probably have to spend a long time on pit road getting the fenders pulled away, and it's probably messed up the suspension on the front of that truck. Here's another truck that's struggling. Back in the 19th position is Ben Kennedy. He's not too far away from going a lap down. He's cheering for that caution clock to expire.
Yeah, I think that caution clock is going to save Ben Kennedy. He needs to get in. Joey Cohen and the guys need to make some pretty serious adjustments to that truck.
Kennedy was 4th here in June and was really excited about this truck. When I was talking to him yesterday, they were really encouraged by what they felt like they were going to have tonight, but it certainly hasn't played out that way, as you see Christopher Bell starting to challenge Daniel Hemrick for second.
What about those 2 KBM trucks that the boys have brought to the track? They're marching toward the front. Looks like they're long run trucks, Phil. But like I said earlier, this track is going to change. If you're good now, it's going to take some heads up adjustments by the crew chief to make sure that thing's good as rubber goes down on the road.
How does it typically change? Free up, or free up as the night goes, or what do you expect?
I would love to give you a definite answer on that, but talking to various crew chiefs in the garage area, they're not sure what's going to happen. Recently, the trend has been for the trucks to get freer as they go, and if that's the case, or excuse me, as the night goes, and if that's the case, you've got to make adjustments.
And I was talking to one of the crew chiefs, and he said he thought the second run is when it was going to start loosening up. And I talked to another crew chief, he said the last run is when it's going to loosen up.
What a great start for Spencer Gallagher, Daniel Hemrick, those 2 out there 1 and 2 in the race. Love Gallagher's line. That's what it's going to take. We saw that in the spring. That's probably what it's going to take at the end of this race to get to victory lane, and he's good up there now.
The 20 of Austin Hill right there going a lap down. He needs to stay in contact with Spencer Gallagher to be in the position to get the free pass. We're only about a lap away from the caution clock.
That caution clock, upper left-hand portion of your screen now, so just a half minute remaining.
Saw the truck just ahead of Gallagher now is Ben Kennedy. So he's going to make it looks like, to the caution clock without losing that lap. You see him on the bottom of the track there, racing with Jesse Little. What a great job by Little up in the top 20 here in one of his infrequent starts.
Well, Kennedy came into this race in the 6th position of the 6 chasers. We talked about how he couldn't afford an off night tonight, but right now he is the furthest back by a significant margin of any of the other chasers. He is 19th, and the caution is out as the caution clock has expired.
And he saves that lap by just that much, about 3 truck lengths.
Little's only made, in that 97 truck, Jesse's only made 7 starts in the Truck Series. That's a great start to his evening. Gets in, gets the right adjustments. He could contend for a top 10 tonight.
Absolutely.
Caution clock being used for the 17th time this season. Hasn't been every race, and never more than twice in a race. Possibly more than twice tonight. I mean, if it all played out accordingly.
And I tell you, Vince, the caution clock is perfect for the Truck Series for sure, because we've got so many kids, teenagers out there trying to understand what their trucks want, what they need. And when they get this break in the action, they can communicate to their crew chief and ask for adjustments and maybe get a chance, like Jesse Little, to fight his way up inside that top 10. This is the perfect competition clock for our series.
And I love some of the crew chiefs that we have calling the shots. Rudy Fugel and Jerry Baxter, Chad Kendrick, people like that, Doug Randolph, guys with a lot of experience working with these young guys.
So Gallagher has led them all 39 laps. The 23 truck has been out front, and Daniel Hemrick has been chasing him all the way. 3 chasers in the top 5, Christopher Bell, William Byron, and Johnny Sauter. So the pits will be open this time as they start to make their way through turn 4. And Gallagher will lead a long line down pit road.
Austin Dillon made his way all the way up to the 6th spot from the 11th row.
Daniel Hemrick is going to head into his box, and Caitlin is there to call it.
Yeah, and I spoke with crew chief Chad Kendrick. He said, we really want to break out and get a win before this season is over. Right now, Daniel says it just loses the nose on exit. They're going to do 4 tires and fuel and air pressure for the 19. Looking at Christopher Bell at the middle of your screen, he says that he's just a little bit free in, snug on exit. They're not going to do a chassis adjustment. Also going to do 4 tires for Christopher Bell. Hermie.
William Byron is too tight. It's going to be 4 tires, air pressure adjustment, and fuel for the 9. The 23 of Spencer Gallagher. He loves his truck a little bit free. 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment, but he will lose the race off pit road.
So Hemrick is the first one off. Byron gets a couple of spots as well. But how about Gallagher losing 3 and Austin Dillon losing 4?
And our chaser, Ben Kennedy, they've raised the hood on that number 33 Jacob Company Chevrolet. They've got some issues, probably with the travel. Caitlin, what are they saying is going on under the hood?
Well, earlier Ben Kennedy said he was going to switch ignition boxes because he felt like the motor was running flat. So they were checking the gauges, trying to figure out what was going on. They did 4 tires, fuel, made a track bar adjustment, but then opening up the hood to try and diagnose the issue for Ben Kennedy.
Not the way Kennedy wanted his night to begin here at Texas. We've got a lead change, and it happened on pit road. Back at Texas Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. After our first round of pit stops, you know, pit lane has been broken into more sections. There are more speed zones on pit lane for this race. 14 tonight compared to 8 in the spring. And did they catch somebody out, Hermie?
Got the 17, Vince Timothy Peters, too fast entering on pit road. To compound that, the 17, in the words of Timothy, wicked loose on that first run. We'll see if he can drive his way back towards the front.
Now they don't want to catch them speeding, Vince, but if you do it, you got to keep the playing field level, and you got to keep pit road safe, and you probably speed by ½ a mile an hour, but it's black and white. You either speed or you didn't.
They give them 5 extra miles an hour. Pit road speed is 45. They give them up to 50, but not 50.1.
William Byron, the leader on the inside, or Daniel Hemrick, the leader, I should say, on the outside with William Byron inside.
We saw Hemrick spin his tires trying to start on that bottom. He learned from that once the high side. William did a nice job of getting going. He looks like going to be able to slide up in front of Gallagher for second.
See Suarez, that orange truck, making it 3 wide on the high side.
Christopher Bell looking at the bottom in that 4 truck. Johnny Sauter behind him. Matt Crafton up there in the mix in that bright yellow 88, or that 88 truck.
See Spencer Gallagher outside of Christopher Bell in that 23 truck. Remember, this is the first time he's been back in traffic. He led every lap till the caution flag came out.
Talked to some of the drivers in the pit area and said, what do you do when you get back in traffic? Well, you do just like Spencer Gallagher did there. You go in a lane where the truck isn't in front of you. If you ride behind a truck, your truck will handle worse. So you try to find a little bit of open air so you can stick your nose there.
But Byron rode up the track a little bit, and Gallagher pounced on him for that position. And now he's working on Christopher Bell. So Gallagher trying to get right back to the front, but Bell's not going to give it up.
Look at William all over the back tailgate of his teammate Christopher Bell. Had a bit of a moment, lost that momentum, lost that spot to Spencer. Now he seems to be back up to speed fine.
Remember wicked loose Matt Crafton at the start that went from 7th back outside the top 10? Looks like Junior Joyner, his crew chief, and that team made the right adjustments for Matt. He's hanging right in there on this restart. He gets that truck the way he wants it. Remember, Joyner said, wear me out, Matt. Tell me everything that you can about that truck and we'll fix it for you. Looks like Matt said all the right words to Joyner.
Trying to get to the outside of the 9 of William Byron in a battle for the 4th spot.
Oh, it's tight in there. You can see Johnny Sauter looking at the bottom. There's Byron. Look at this pack.
Gallagher and Bell have been side by side for the last few laps, and neither one of them is going to give in. It looks like Gallagher's truck's a little bit faster up on that higher groove, and he's going to grab 2nd from Bell.
Looks like Crafton may grab that spot from William Byron. He's going to bring Johnny Sauter with him in the 21 truck.
Hadn't seen Sauter up on the top all night, but he used that draft off of Matt Crafton to try to make his way around Byron on the bottom.
Well, here comes the 51, and that orange Tundra, that's driven by Daniel Suarez, and he's getting up into the mix. Had some momentum up rim riding.
Christopher Bell looked to the inside of Daniel Hemrick, that time down into 3, testing the water, seeing if he can grab the lead away.
Could be a big bonus point there to get that lead and lead a lap.
On board with Matt Crafton. You see, looking back at William Byron, there's Byron and Johnny Sauter. Byron won here in June. Sauter has won here twice before. In fact, swept back in 2012, the June and the fall race. It hasn't always been for the lead, but there have been battles throughout the field.
Been some great racing. There's been some comers and goers. We talked about Austin Dillon driving all the way up for the 11th row to 6th before that caution flag. Lost a few spots on pit road. He's back to the 12th spot now. But how about Cameron Haley, that 13 truck now up in the top 10?
Yeah, he came to Texas and got a big cowboy hat from his sponsors. He was wearing it proudly through the garage area. I said, you know, if you win this race, they'll give you another one. He said, I like the way I look in this thing.
Our championship standings as they run, they're at the top of the screen, and you see that Matt Crafton and Timothy Peters tied for that final spot, top 4. Remember, after Texas or after Phoenix next week, 2 drivers will be eliminated.
Timothy Peters had that pit road penalty. He's only been able to get back up to the 16th spot right now.
Daniel Hemrick spent the early part of the race chasing Spencer Gallagher. Now Hemrick's got the lead at Texas. Just a couple of days away. Start your Sunday with Fox NFL Kickoff and America's #1 pregame show. Then it's rookie sensation Dak Prescott and the Cowboys battling the Browns. Or at least the Browns hope it's a battle. For the Eagles collide with the Giants. Maybe some other regional action coming your way. Coverage begins Sunday, 11 Eastern on Fox.
Big win for the Panthers, who faced the Rams on Sunday last week against the Cardinals.
Got to make it 2 in a row.
Absolutely need it.
While we were at break, Spencer Gallagher was able to make his way around Christopher Bell for that 2nd spot. This is a fast truck. You talked about the smart crew chiefs down on pit road, Phil. You got to add Jeff Hensley to that list, huh? He's been a winner in the Truck Series, a former driver. So when you have a former driver that's crew chief, it's good communication, I think. They understand the challenges and the frustrations that the driver is faced with and is able to help him through those.
And I love the fact that that truck obviously had short run speed. He was able to get the pole. He led until the first caution clock expired, and now he's battling his way back here trying to chase down Daniel Hemrick for the lead.
See William Byron and Johnny Sauter. That's the battle for 5th. Sauter on the inside in that 21 truck won last week at Martinsville. Clinched the spot in that Final 4 at the championship race at Homestead.
You know, you talked earlier, Phil, about win and you go to Miami for a chance to win the championship, but you got to have a strong points day if you can't win. The thing that's wrong with that is you can leave here with a good points day, but you still got to go to Phoenix and have one. You know, you can't take anything for granted. That's why this format is so perfect for NASCAR. The drivers know the way they solve their problems is drive that thing to victory lane.
And we know one guy's going to point his way in, but it might not be two. It all depends on who wins these next 2 races.
Well, and Johnny Sauter, if he could win again tonight, that just eliminates another potential or another chaser getting his potential win to convince or to get himself a guaranteed spot to Homestead. And that just bodes well for Sauter.
And they all have to worry about Phoenix then. Johnny Sauter knows he's going to be able to breeze right through Phoenix and make his way to Homestead racing for a championship. How about Matt Crafton, Hermie?
First run, Phil, the truck was way too loose. We made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment. Right now the truck is just a little bit too tight for Matt. It's driving off of the left rear on the exit of the corners, really preventing him from getting the straightaway speed he wants. The 9 of William Byron is a little bit on the tight side as well, but they're asking him to be patient. He does not have good short run speed, but they feel like some of the trucks in front of them will get freer as they run, and then the 9 will make his way back to the front. We'll see if that plays out.
Yeah, we got a long way to go. We're just 62 of 147. I mean, there's a lot of racing left.
Certainly is. We're about halfway towards the caution clock expiring, just over 10 minutes.
A couple of more pit stops for sure, so the crew chiefs have multiple opportunities to work on their trucks, and it still looks like that 33 of Ben Kennedy needs some help. He's back there in 19.
And look at the front end just won't stick with him in the corners. You saw him make a nice run through the center of the corner on Austin Hill there. The truck was ahead of him, but then Caitlin, right in the center of the corner, the truck just took off. What are they saying down there?
Well, I just spoke with crew chief Joey Cohen, and as we've documented, they've been having issues with the motor. The team took a big swing at the balance on the truck on that last stop, but he says the motor, it just still doesn't sound good. He says we haven't been able to diagnose it. He says it might be something in the rear end going bad or something driveline-wise, but certainly a little bit of a frustration I am noticing down here in the 33 pit box for Ben Kennedy.
You see, but we're seeing on the screen here, Caitlin, he's able to really pull up on Hill down the straightaways. Look at there, Phil drafts right up on the back of him, but the front end just doesn't seem to be sticking in the corners.
Yeah, without a doubt, a balance issue it appears for Ben Kennedy right now. He is over a half a lap behind. He might not get saved by the caution clock this time.
Well, his last time by, he ran 32.10 seconds. That's the leader ran a 31.4. So that's 0.7 of a second. That's 3/4 of a second on one lap. He needs to get it going. I think maybe I would wander around, go up next to the outside wall like we saw Spencer Gallagher do earlier, see if he can find some grip up there.
Here comes the 71 of Austin Dillon. Inside the top 10, going after Cole Custer for that 9th spot.
He's been fun to watch, huh, Vince?
He has been coming from the back. He is charged from the get-go. Did not qualify well, but in that first segment, he was on the move, and he's on the go again.
Yeah, he drove all the way up to the 6th spot, I think, and then they had a bad pit stop back outside the top 10 on the restart. He sort of just hovered there during this run, and just remember that cat that's fighting for that top 10 spot in the trucks, he's on the pole for the Cup race on Sunday. How tough are these truckers?
Cole Custer pretty happy with his truck today during that practice and then qualifying. Another one of those drivers that hasn't yet won this season, but wouldn't be surprised to see him get to victory lane at any time. A couple of wins to his credit in his young career. He'll move on next year to the Xfinity Series, where they'll run the Stewart-Haas effort in the Xfinity campaign.
That's the same truck that he finished third with at Las Vegas. To that young man right there finished second, Daniel Hemrick, to his teammate Tyler Reddick at Las Vegas.
How about more on the 19 of Hemrick, Caitlin?
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, this team really wants to get a win before the season closes out, and right now they can already tell they're in a pretty good position, already kind of planning out a strategy as the race goes on for what they'll do as this race comes to a close.
You're right. We're trying to keep on one lap it starts happening on and trying to make an educated decision. The race plays out the way it's looking like it's playing out. We could end up with that last run being a straight run, barely making it on fuel.
So there you hear crew chief Chad Kendrick already anticipating towards the end of the race. Now this is the same truck they raced at Las Vegas, had a runner-up with it, but right now they're leading the field, Vince.
That's interesting to hear Chad Kendrick, the crew chief, talking about strategy already, and then that last run being close on fuel really puts an emphasis on getting all the fuel in on all those pit stops. We've had two leaders, Gallagher and Hemrick.
These guys will be able to run wide open.
Yeah, copy. Yes, sir.
The trucks are at Texas Motor Speedway.
Take care of our stuff. Hey, man, 10-4. We got a great truck under us, so we'll keep it safe down pit road. Ready. Ready. Control truck, chose, bottom. Go, go.
Here comes that 3 wide you were talking about.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. The 38th time the trucks have raced here at Texas. Chase race number 5. What a beautiful facility here at Texas as Spencer Gallagher is up on the wall.
Oh, and he's going for the lead, too. Look at that run he's got. He's going to do it. What a strong move by Gallagher.
Okay, how about Spencer Gallagher here? We're inside of 3 minutes, guys, for the next caution clock. Good battle right here for the 5th spot. William Byron, the 9, the 88 of Crafton. Johnny Sauter's been able to get by both those guys to take over 4th.
But we saw how much Junior Joyner and that team improved Crafton's truck after the first run when they had that pit stop. We're getting ready to have another pit stop. Be interesting to see who makes the right adjustments late.
Austin Dillon in the 71, trying to get underneath the 13 of Cameron Haley, and just that close.
Did you see the way the air off that 13 truck made Austin Dillon drive his truck down the straightaway, moved it over a half a lane?
For 8th place.
Let's go back a second to what Chad Kendrick was talking about. He said this end of this race may be a long run, be close on fuel. It all depends. We know the caution clock. If we don't get a caution, it's going to come out in about 3 or 4 laps. And it depends on when they restart this race, whether another caution clock could come into play. If it doesn't, if they go past lap 88, we probably will not see another caution clock because we turn it off with 20 laps to go. And then it's going to be a long run to the end of the race, and these guys are going to have to start saving fuel.
Oh, wow, Johnny Sauter almost caught the back of that Ford truck of Christopher Bell as they exited turn 2. The lap truck was down on the bottom, the 07 of Mills, and I think it made Sauter's truck push a little bit on exit, and they about made contact.
That's for 3rd place. Bell in the 4, Sauter in the 21, both championship contenders. You see those Chase trucks are trimmed in blue, the splitter in the front, the name Camping World name tag across the front windshield, and the spoiler in the back, all in blue, identifying each of those trucks as chasers, championship eligible.
Inside of 2 laps to go till our caution clock will expire. So you see 45 seconds right now.
Bell's been able to withstand the charge of Johnny Sauter, keep that 3rd position.
No mistakes on pit road here, guys. We saw what happened to Timothy Peters. He came in the pits running 9th. He's only been able to get back to the 14th spot. But Spencer Gallagher is on go. He's opened up over a second over Daniel Hemric in 2nd.
Gallagher and Hemric, neither one have won. They've both been runner-ups this season, but neither have made it to victory lane, not just this season, but in their Camping World Truck Series career. We're a long way from
yellow's out, nice and easy.
assuming that they're going to possibly get there today, but they have been the only two to lead here tonight at Texas as the caution clock expires for the 2nd time tonight.
Ben Kennedy did a nice job, Phil. We talked about he could be in trouble of losing a lap. He was able to find some grip in that 33 truck, made a couple of passes, got himself up to the 16th position on the lead lap. So if Joey Cohn, that crew, can make the adjustments on the 33, then this could be a story. He could do like Timothy Peters did a week ago in Martinsville and really charge late in the going and keep himself in contention.
Matt Tifft gets the free pass in that 11 truck. Well, and Michael, you talk about Kennedy kind of salvaging something the way Peters salvaged that top 5 last week at Martinsville. And after what happened to Kennedy last week at Martinsville, got wrecked in the later stages of that race. And he said, you know, I really feel like we didn't have a great night going or a great day going anyway, but we finished probably 7, 8, 9 spots worse than what we should have finished. And those 7, 8, 9 points can make the difference between advancing to Homestead for a shot at the championship or not. And that was maybe the most frustrating part for Kennedy last week.
And let's think about Timothy Peters. He finds himself in a bind again as well. He was in the back early at Martinsville, fought to the front, made a mistake on pit road. He's in the 14th position. He needs to do his job perfectly here, get the right adjustments, and try to charge again.
And have some of his guys maybe pick him up a few spots on pit road.
Pit lane speed limit, 45 miles per hour. Don't get caught speeding. We're going to concentrate on chasers only during this round of pit stops. Caitlin?
Well, Johnny Sauter, last week's race winner, making his way down. He said, I need right rear side bite. It drives good through the turns, just need help off the turns. Don't mess it up, though. It drives good. 4 tires, fuel, air pressure adjustment, and a track bar for the 21. Christopher Bell in the middle of your screen says, not bad. I do need a bit of lateral rear grip on exit, so crew chief Jerry Baxter has called for 1 round down on the track bar, 4 tires as well. Hermie.
William Byron is too tight on initial entry into the corners. 4 tires, fuel, a wedge adjustment for the 988. Also got 4 tires, a wedge adjustment, and air pressure. Hemric wins the race off pit road.
Wow. Good work down there by that 88 crew of Crafton. Picked him up a couple of spots.
You talked about Peters needing his team to pick him up, Phil. That didn't happen. They lost some spots on pit road there, so could be a long night for that team.
Yes, gonna have to do it on the racetrack now.
Look at Matt go.
Doing work at Texas. About ready to go racing again at Texas Motor Speedway.
Bill, I've been watching you with your calculator. Are we going to see another caution clock if we don't get one for another reason?
We will. We had to restart before lap 88. We've completed 85 laps, so if we go green for the next 20 minutes, we will see a caution come out and a battle to the end.
What about those two up front? That's been a great matchup all night long. And by the way, neither one of them's ever been to victory lane, and they're fighting tooth and nail to get there.
What a great view at Texas Motor Speedway as they come down the backstretch. Enough permanent lighting here to illuminate 11 NFL stadiums.
And you could put 4 Dallas Cowboys stadiums inside here.
This place is something else.
I didn't know how big that TV screen was exactly, but then I looked over at the condos in turns 2, and it's half as big as that. So that's a big TV screen.
Big hoss.
I've been to Texas Stadium, and I thought that one was big, and this one dwarfs that one.
94 feet tall, 218 feet wide.
Almost 80% bigger than one at Texas Stadium.
Eddie Gossage, Bruton Smith, they take care of the fans here, don't they?
Hemric on the outside, Gallagher on the inside. Gallagher spins the tires. Bell gave him a bump. Great start for Hemric, and Gallagher getting swallowed up.
We saw the inside line struggle on just about every one of these starts and restarts.
Yeah, Gallagher did a nice job of recovering because he made a mistake, spun his tires just like we saw Hemric do on the initial start, And look at him come now. He's going to chase down Hemrick.
How about that? Gallagher spins the tires, and now he's going to the lead. He's got it.
How about Bell on the outside trying to go by Hemrick?
Look at that mess behind them. 3, 4 wide back there trying to sort it out. And there's some of our chasers in that back.
There's Ben Kennedy on following Suarez, Ben the 33 truck.
You saw Timothy Peters for a second, and look at this battle. Christopher Bell finds his way around the outside to second. Johnny Sauter's wanting a piece of that lead.
The restarts generate so much excitement, so much opportunity to make a pass, and especially when you've got multiple lanes like we do here at Texas, as Byron almost got into Crafton.
You think that 21 of Sauter's taking it easy because he's locked into the finale?
He wants it all, Phil.
He wants to sweep this round.
Johnny Sauter in that 21 truck in 4th. Daniel Hemrick in 3rd. Matt Crafton right behind him in 5th, and William Byron taking a peek from his 6th position.
Well, these new tires are running just about same speed as the pole was earlier today.
And they're running through the corners wide open in traffic. That's a difficult task to accomplish.
Everyone fighting for a spot on board with Ben Kennedy. It's been a tough night for Kennedy, but he's finally up into near the top 10. He's running 12.
That's as high as he's been this entire evening.
Check this out. William Byron just loses it. He's behind Sauter, and he just loses his front end. And watch how close he nearly comes to clipping Crafton. That's a couple of our chasers trying to sort it out off turn 4.
Williams said, please turn, please turn, please turn.
And at some point, you got to let off the gas a little bit, but that's the last thing these guys want to do.
Tyler Reddick on board with Reddick in that 29 Brad Keselowski machine, trying to get a little momentum up around the top. Last time we were at 1.5 miles, Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago, he led a race-high 70 laps and took it to victory lane.
We know we're going to have another caution. These guys need to stay as close as they can to the front, have some track position when they head towards pit road.
That's right, and then lean on their pit crews to maybe gain them that spot or two that can get them to victory lane.
Spencer Gallagher has led 53 laps. He's out front. He and Daniel Hemrick, the only 2 drivers to lead here tonight, but that doesn't mean it's been easy, as Christopher Bell is showing he's given chase now to Gallagher.
I'll tell you, Jerry Baxter's been able to tune up that 4 truck. He's been solid all night, but this is as strong as that truck has looked tonight.
Just think about the progress of that young rookie Christopher Bell, how he started the season kind of a little bit rough. Well, really rough.
Upside down.
When he flipped over, but then mistake after mistake early. But Kyle Busch, his owner, and Jerry Baxter, the experienced crew chief, they've talked him into a better position. Just think about Martinsville in the spring. He finished 19th, hit a bunch of stuff. Terrible race. Goes back there in the fall, finishes in the top 5. Comes to Texas, he didn't even get started here. He didn't get his water hot. He blew up his engine when he missed a shift. Here, racing in the top 5.
You know, if you're one of those people that really believes in the numbers, you look last week at Martinsville where Johnny Sauter won after finishing last in the spring. Here tonight, Christopher Bell, could he win after finishing last in the spring?
Yes, he could. We know he can. He's proving it right now. He's fast.
And it would be big for Bell. He's from Oklahoma, so this is the closest race to his Oklahoma home. That 88 truck of Matt Crafton, how's it going, Hermie?
Vince Crafton was upset with Daniel Hemrick on the restart, said he brake checked the field, but since they went back to green, maybe another problem for the 88. Listen.
Raver corner, right front fender left. Look next time. If it's okay, I'll look next time. Right front fender's fine. Right rear is just scrubbed on the quarter. The bumper is fine. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what Johnny was doing. It didn't look like he got loose or anything. It just looked like he used you up. Letting you guys know, only have 12 volts and it's flashing.
11 to 12 volts and it's flashing. Could be a battery issue for the 88. His crew chief, Junior Joyner, came back on the radio after that, told him turn everything off inside the truck. So we'll keep an eye on the 88.
Let's see. He had the right front he was worried about, the right rear he's worried about, and his battery's dying. He's got a bunch of problems trying to race his way in.
And he's running 5th.
Well, there have been All kind of problems for that 88 team here in the chase. Blown engine at Talladega, uncontrolled tire at Vegas, as you see Tyler Reddick go around William Byron for 6th.
Reddick is on the move. Remember, that's the same truck that won our last mile and a half at Las Vegas.
That's a good story there. Kennedy's done a nice job. Up to the 12th spot, racing along just ahead of Rico Abreu. Thought his engine was off earlier. Looked like had some handling issues. The team and Ben have done a nice job of rallying from that nearly disastrous start.
Yeah, no question. Joey Cohen's made some good adjustments on that truck. Again, he was mired around the 17th, 18th spot for most of the race. Now he's up to 12th.
There's a battle for the lead. Bell is there.
Continuing to work on Gallagher. Christopher Bell. A winner earlier this season, securing a spot in the chase with that victory at Gateway. Now going to the bottom, taking a look under the 23.
Ooh, it's
so
almost
close.
there.
That makes me nervous.
Your voice goes up a little bit.
Can't handle it. I know how close that is to that truck not sticking and contact being made. And Bell is persistent. He wants that lead away.
Spencer able to keep the momentum up from the high side.
Spencer's doing a masterful job up top. You can't overshoot that turn at all. You don't only lose your momentum, you could lose your truck into the outside wall. Classic battle here in NASCAR. You've got Chevy leading, Toyota leading Ford.
Getting around the lap truck of Travis Kvapil in that 50. Bell continuing to work the bottom. Gallagher staying true to the top.
This is where it gets tight off the corner. Couldn't quite close the door, and Gallagher steams back on the outside.
It's amazing these guys are racing it as hard as they are and end up side by side, and they really run about as fast as a guy running third that's running by himself, Daniel Hemric.
Well, what I'm seeing here bodes well for the Ford truck. If he can run side by side and stay that close to Gallagher, oh, we got to go 3 wide. He's going to get loose.
Big save from Christopher Bell.
That was just the difference in air as they went around the 07 of Mills.
And that brings the 19 of Hemric into the mix. He's going to take advantage of Bell's wiggle, and Hemric takes over second.
He just used that momentum that he got when Bell got a little bit sideways. That's all it took.
I was talking about that it bodes well for Christopher Bell. I didn't know he's going to half spin out, but he's got a really fast truck to be able to run side by side at that type of pace. As you see, he rebounds quickly from that big slide and goes back around Hemric.
Boy,
he's going to take.
He wasted no time.
He's going to take the lead.
He was sorry about that, but we got to be smarter.
Jerry Baxter's calling for Christopher Bell to use his head and not get himself in a bind late in this race, knowing how crucial the points are if he can't get the win. We need one or the other, Phil.
I'll take the win.
Me too. And that's what Christopher Bell is driving like. He wants to win. Watch this.
It was just the difference in air as they went by the 07 of Mills. Just robbed that truck a little bit of some air, got a little bit loose, lost that momentum, lost second spot for a moment to Hemric, and then got it right back.
I don't know if that kid saves that truck back in the beginning of this year. That just shows you what a quick learner he is and how talented he is. He got himself in a bind and was able to drive his way out of it.
Championship hopes, maybe.
They were gone right there.
Saved by Christopher Bell with that great recovery.
I'm not sure that any of these guys can make a mistake from here on out and hope to make the chase unless they get a win. Look at Johnny Sauter going for 30. He's the guy with the win.
What great racing up at the front of the pack. In fact, all throughout the field, we've seen battle after battle for position. While Spencer Gallagher leads, Bell, Sauter, and Hemric are lurking. And how about the 88 of Matt Crafton? He's running 5th, but it has been eventful, scrubbing it up a little bit.
Whoa.
Late stages, getting closer here at Texas. Spencer Gallagher trying to make it 3 wins in a row for GMS Racing. after Grant Enfinger won at Talladega, Johnny Sauter won at Martinsville, and now Gallagher has led the most laps here tonight at Texas. As you look at the 4 of Christopher Bell in 3rd place, Daniel Hemrick in that 19 in 4th place.
Yeah, Hemrick took a look at him. They're off of 2, not able to make the move on him.
Christopher Bell was charging toward the front. Looked like he was going to go up and pass Spencer Gallagher. Got sideways off turn 2 just a couple of laps ago and has fallen all the way back to 3rd. Lost contact with our leaders. 3rd by almost 2 seconds. There's Hemrick. You see the bright yellow truck at the top of the screen. Running 5th, that's Matt Crafton. As we went to break, we saw Matt hit the outside wall. That was a pretty good jar into that outside wall, yet he's been able to hang on to the top 5 spot.
Daniel Hemrick in 4th, led 38 laps earlier tonight as we look at our Ford Fact and the Ford wins here at Texas Motor Speedway.
When Kenny Irwin won that race, he was one of 3 rookies finishing 1, 2, 3. The only time that's ever happened in the series.
I remember listening to that race on the radio. Kenny's from Indiana, and what a big win that was for Kenny Irwin to win here at Texas.
Yeah, tragically lost him way too young.
Hemrick closing up now on Bell again. Well, it's been a good battle between these two fighting for position.
Yeah, Hemrick's done all he could do. Bell would go to the top, Hemrick would go to the bottom. Vince, we talked in the opening that these drivers needed to look at this race like baseball. You try to go hit the ball where the players aren't. Well, in this case, you got to drive your truck into clean air. Get some air on that nose, go where the other guys aren't to try to make ground.
Jerry Baxter, the crew chief for Christopher Bell, said it was really hard getting sleep, you know, when you had to run Talladega and then Martinsville after they'd run so poorly there in the spring. And he just didn't get much rest, but they felt comfortable coming here to Texas. But I'm not sure he's feeling so comfortable after Christopher had to save it big time earlier.
Ben Kennedy had driven up to 11th, Phil, and was looking like making some ground, but now he's fading. He's back to the 14th position as he races just ahead of Ben Rhodes there. And behind Rhodes, you see another chase contender, Timothy Peters in the red truck right there.
Yeah, Timothy was in the top 10 prior to the first pit stop, had a speeding penalty, and has never been able to overcome it. This is about the highest he's been since then, and he's running in the 16th spot.
Still good enough if the chase round ended tonight. You see him just 1 to the good, but
oh my goodness,
we got a long way to go.
It's not going to end tonight.
No, it's not.
Oh my goodness. And how about this battle for 3rd continues? Hemrick trying to get underneath the 4 of Bell.
And that caution clock under 4.5 minutes. More on the 4 of Bell. Caitlin?
Well, earlier we saw Christopher Bell get a little loose there as crew chief Jerry Baxter also saying, remember, big picture, we have to beat the 88. Here's what they're talking about now.
Dude, I'm scared to free it up. I'm just too scared. I know it's going to get freer. Yeah, copy that. I mean, we just got to find a balance between, you know, we lose all our speed on the long run. You know, we're really good to start. We just got to find something here at the end if this thing runs like this all night. Yeah, I mean, there's going to only be 20 to go when we get back to green.
Well, Christopher Bell obviously has had a strong run all night. He's been very good in the chase so far this year, currently holding down that P3 spot on the track.
Well, it's a real team effort between driver, crew chief, spotter.
Look at the tension on Baxter's face. He's one of the coolest guys in the garage area. He knows how to tune up a truck as good as anybody, but he knows right now it's out of his hands. His hands are a bit tied. They know they're running well enough right now to get into a good position going to the next race at Phoenix. And you heard him say, I don't want to adjust it. We're okay right now. And you can see the stress it's causing him trying to make those decisions.
And it was a great point knowing that if the caution clock indeed comes on in about 6 laps, we're going to have about a 20-lap run to the end, which is going to be about half as far as we've gone from the start of the run to the caution clock coming out.
Now the caution clock has come into play twice already tonight. Never before have we had the caution clock come in 3 times in a race, as you see Hemrick finally get past Christopher Bell after working him for several laps, moving into the 3rd spot.
And that'll just, if he can hold on to that spot, it'll just get him to pit road 1 spot sooner. That could be big as they come off of pit road.
Yeah, and Spencer Gallagher's lost the lead every time they've gone to pit road, both times. So Gallagher's team needs to step up. Their young drivers really stepped it up tonight, huh? He's put themselves in a great position Now his team needs to respond.
There's a good look at Gallagher in that 23. Won the pole, second career pole.
Led the most laps. He's got 82 of those in the bank.
Has not put a wheel out of place tonight.
As he moves by the 11 of Matt Tifft and the 20 of Austin Hill. You see Johnny Sauter lurking in the background there. Johnny gained a little bit while he was lapping these two trucks. Spencer moves right back up to the top of the racetrack. That's where he's made the most time here late in the run.
I like this 21 truck. Johnny Sauter's been steady and fast. I think it's going to be really interesting when this caution clock expires in a couple of 3 laps, Phil, because we don't really know who has the short run speed. We see Gallagher lead a lot of laps, but maybe not right off the green flag. Johnny Sauter, Caitlin, he's been steady all night long, but hasn't been able to get to the front yet.
Yeah, but right now Johnny is very relaxed on the radio. He knows he's going to the final round, just trying to chase down Spencer Gallagher. Here's what he's saying currently.
Oh yeah, 31, 48, 63 in front.
A little humor there for Johnny Sauter, but he did say recently it took off faster on that run, but it is still too loose on exit.
Sauter, you know things are good when you're having fun on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, in the race with 25 to go, as you see the 29 of Tyler Reddick and the 88 of Matt Crafton. Reddick running 5th. Crafton trying to get that spot.
Yeah, Crafton currently rides just 3 points out of our top 4, the 4 trucks that will go to Miami for the championship. Timothy Peters is inside that cut line right now, and looks like Peters is going to try to dispose of Ben Kennedy and grab another valuable point.
Yeah, we're within 1 lap right now of the caution clock coming into play for the 3rd time tonight.
Kennedy in 14th, and that blue and white 33, and that's Peters in 15th. Both are chasers. It's the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek just in front of them.
I think we have too long to go here. It's going to be about a 20-lap run as the caution does come out. For maybe a Timothy Peters to think about 2 tires here on a racetrack that you really need 4.
Yeah, the pace really falls off. We see him running down in the 29-second bracket on the restarts, right at 29 or 30 flat. And now they're all the way up to 31.40. I don't think you can take that risk if you're one of these guys that are trying to make their way to Miami.
Maybe 6 or 8 laps, but not a 20-lap run.
Caution clock for the 3rd time tonight, and for the 2nd time, Matt Tifft in that 11 truck gets the free pass. Now remember, Spencer Gallagher's dominated from a statistical standpoint. He's led 87 laps. He and Daniel Hemrick, the only 2 that have led tonight. So Gallagher has led 87. But twice he has come to pit road, and both times he has not been the leader when they've left.
Yeah, but it could be catastrophic for somebody to have a speeding penalty or a man over the wall too soon, something like that. You cannot overcome that if you have one right now.
You got to execute on track and race conditions, and you got to execute on pit road as well.
He just wants that outside front row starting spot, Vince. He wants to go to pit road, do his job, hit his speed timing lights perfectly, get to the box perfectly, and fire out of there. If he starts on the outside of that front row, I guarantee you Spencer Gallagher thinks this race is his. But that's easier said than done.
Yes, it
There's
is.
a lot of moving parts and pieces to that equation.
And there's some great pit crews on pit road, too, that'll bust off about a 14-second pit stop here.
A key moment in the race right here as they start to make their way down pit road. Maybe for the final time here tonight, Spencer Gallagher leads the group. Caitlin is there to welcome the 4 of Christopher Bell.
Taking a look at him at the top of your screen, he told his team, I'm just a little bit tight on exit. It is really good on entry. I don't need anything for the long run. So crew chief Jerry Baxter is calling for 4 tires, fuel, as well as an air pressure adjustment. Hermie?
Matt Crafton is too tight when the truck lands in the center of the corner. Almost slashed through his pit box. 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment. The 23 of Spencer Gallagher, he likes his truck, but they will make an air pressure adjustment and a minor track bar adjustment to try to keep up with a changing racetrack. But the 23 is slow. The 21 of Sauter wins the race off pit road.
So again, a slow stop for that 23 team. Comes in with the lead, loses 6 positions on pit lane.
Wow, that is huge. He only lost a couple the first time he pitted. And this time, it's huge. Spencer does his job, stops that truck perfectly. Let's see what went wrong.
A little slow on the left rear, or the right rear.
Yeah, a little slow getting that right look. Watch the front guy already around. A little bit slow right there.
That's so frustrating for Spencer to sit there while the other trucks leave pit road. That was a 17.2 second stop, and that won't get the job done in NASCAR.
Don't go away. Going to decide the winner at Texas. College football tomorrow begins at noon Eastern on FS1. Oh, Nelly, and oh, Slobberknocker. Texas and Texas Tech. That's the only time of the year I get to say Slobberknocker. Texas and Texas Tech. Then at 3 o'clock Eastern on Fox, TCU against Baylor. Then Oregon State squares off with Stanford, 3:30 Eastern, back here on FS1. Don't miss the action, all streaming live on Fox Sports Go as well. Hermie.
Junior Joyner, the crew chief of Matt Crafton. You roll off second. Had a battery issue earlier. Is that an issue moving forward?
I don't know. We got everything shut off right now. It's just, man, we can't get a break. You know, we just been working our butts off tonight. Thank God for these good guys on pit road. You know, this Menards Tundra's been good. We just started off too loose, swung the other side, had the battery issue, and then the 21 shoved us up in the fence. So we'll give her hell right now.
Vince?
We'd expect nothing less. And look at Crafton. He's going to restart all those issues, and he's going to restart on the front row with, under 20 to go.
Yeah, we're going to be 18 to go when they take your green flag right here.
Johnny Sauter on the outside, Matt Crafton on the inside, green and going at Texas.
Boy, Matt was able to do the best job of anybody so far on the inside.
He's even going to peek ahead as they enter turn one.
Crafton and Sauter side by side for the lead.
Sauter up the hill. That's going to give Matt the clearance he needs to take the lead.
Crafton jumps up in front of Sauter. Now Hemrick will have the inside lane.
Christopher Bell's 3 wide back there. That didn't work earlier for him. Looked like a little contact possibly from the 13 truck of Cameron Haley into the side of Bell.
You see Gallagher mired back in about the 7th spot there, the inside the blue truck, inside of the 00 Cole Custer.
This is tough for these guys right now, Phil. You know how hard it is to drive these things nearly wide open in traffic 2 and 3 wide, and it's late. The more the laps wind down, the more aggressive these guys get. Can they survive this type of battle?
You heard Junior Joyner talk about the team being snake bit of sorts. We mentioned the blown engine at Talladega, uncontrolled tire penalty at Las Vegas. They had a brake fire last week at Martinsville, had to change the engine after practice this morning.
Look at Bell there, sideways off the corner, and that put Cameron Haley into the side of him. It could put a tire rub onto the Ford truck. There he is. You can see that left rear tire is shiny. It could start losing air. That's something this team will have to watch.
Whoa, William Byron sideways off the corner, racing the 00 Custer.
Well, it's a couple of times that Byron has narrowly avoided a collision. Camping World 15 to go at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
I'm not sure I can hold my breath for 15 more laps.
I just can't believe how good these guys are. We've seen Matt Crafton into the outside wall. He's leading the race. Christopher Bell nearly spin out. And then there was William Byron about sideways on the straightaway even. And then the most dominant truck all night long, Spencer Gallagher, he's locked back in the 9th position after a bad pit stop.
Take a ride along with Ford on board for Tyler Reddick running 4th. That's Johnny Sauter, the 21 Allegiant Travel Chevy right in front of him. How about Matt Crafton driving off in the sunset, the fastest truck on the racetrack with an 0.8 of a second lead. This is a slobber knocker right here, Vince.
Hey, just to clean up a couple of items from that pit stop, most recent pit stops, the 98 of Rico Abreu and the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek, both speeding on their pit stops, and then the 8 was also penalized for a restart violation. So if you're following the 98 and the 8, those are the issues that those two have had in the last several laps.
And that's a big break for Ben Kennedy and Timothy Peters. They were behind those trucks. They now find themselves running in 12th and 13th position, about as good as they've been all night, with a chance to gain some more points.
How about that 71 of Austin Dillon? Boy, you talking about a guy that's been digging all night long. Seems like he runs up toward the front, then he fades back. At pit stops, they might have a problem. Then he runs back up to the front. I mean, he keeps charging.
And, you know, he's going to be tired tonight. He only has 2 more races to go this weekend, though. He'll have it all behind him. But you're right.
Yeah.
What a night for that young man.
Austin Dillon will run the Xfinity race tomorrow, the Cup race on Sunday. Won the pole earlier today for Cup qualifying.
How about this race for Spencer Gallagher there in that 23 truck? He's been the man on the man tonight.
On the racetrack.
Yeah, but when he comes to pit road, he just can't have a clean pit stop.
Led 88 laps tonight for Spencer Gallagher. Right now running 8th.
That's a career night for him, no matter where he finishes. Just like to see, maybe he's looking for a late caution. They still got a set of tires down there in the pits, Phil. We talked about how these things fall off. At what point do you think, if the caution flies, do they come get those tires?
I think if you're Spencer Gallagher, why not? You're running in the 8th spot. Why not come in? I think if I'm Matt Crafton, Daniel Hemrick, maybe keep that track position and hope that some of the guys stay out behind me.
10 laps to go. In half our races this season, the final lead change has come in the last 10 laps. So don't go anywhere. Matt Crafton doesn't have this one secured just yet.
That's for sure, because the draft here in this truck series, they can really pull up on each other. Daniel Hemrick, that time by, ran just a little bit faster than Matt Crafton. And he's gaining because of the draft on the straightaways. And now coming up behind him is Johnny Sauter. Maybe the 2 of those trucks together can draft up to Matt Crafton.
Couple of Kyle Busch teammates there in that 4 truck of Christopher Bell, the 9 of William Byron, and here comes Spencer Gallagher trying to get back into the mix. Gallagher back in 8th.
Nobody's run that high line any better than Gallagher, and that's where he is right now, trying to make some ground.
Christopher Bell just lost 2 spots, one to his teammate Byron in the 9 and the 23. I think maybe the 4 truck has some sort of issue, guys. You think an engine going sour in that 4 truck?
Remember earlier we saw that tire rub on the left rear. Could that tire be getting a slow leak?
Bell's already back to the 9th spot.
You can see the damage to the fender and the fact that the tire doesn't have the lettering on it. If that truck's getting loose, that left rear tire could be going down. And I don't think it'll make it 7 laps like that.
He was about 0.6 of a second off our leader that time, Matt Crafton.
Well, that would be disaster for Christopher Bell after having such a strong run all night long, and now trying to hold on here over the final 7 laps.
Wow, this is tense, isn't it? Remember Jerry Baxter's face earlier when that truck was running in the top 5? Can you imagine what he's feeling right now? They're racing for a championship here.
Yeah, he said, just stop the bleeding, just stay in right there. There's a 71. Austin Dillon getting by him.
Let's look and see what happened here. It looked like Bell gets a little bit loose and then wiggles into the...
I think maybe was that Cole Custer maybe in the middle of that group that got a little bit loose, and that forced Bell down a little bit, and that's when he made contact with Cameron Haley.
He's back to the 10th position.
5 laps to go at Texas. Our championship standings, you see Byron and Bell, Crafton, they would be in right now along with Johnny Sauter. Peters and Kennedy would be out.
So much for that lead that Matt Crafton had. It is evaporated.
Well, we talked about the draft and those 2 trucks coming this way. You had to know the challenge was going to come. That's the way these truckers race. Remember just a year ago, Rico Abreu was trying to take the lead on the last lap.
Oh! Hemrick and Sauter almost getting together. Sauter's going to get around him for second.
I know all 6 of our challengers left in the chase for the championship are all capable of going to Homestead and winning the race, but wouldn't you know that Johnny Sauter would really like to keep that 88 from clinching a spot at Homestead right now, because he knows how strong a competitor Matt Crafton is. He's a 2-time champion.
Yeah, and he won there last fall, so he's got the truck to do it. He knows how to get the job done.
To Johnny, he's catching you from the top speed here.
Phil, that's just the draft. Johnny's able to charge up on Crafton because he's breaking the air for him. Once he gets there, will Matt be able to drive defensively enough to keep Sauter at bay?
Just 2.5 laps to go right now.
Wow, Sauter is coming.
Michael, you said at the beginning of the race, win and you're in. That's the easy part. Then you got to start thinking about points. These guys right now, they're not thinking points. Sauter's already got that win. Crafton, he wants it, but he's not going to be able to hold on to the lead. Sauter around the lead with 2 to go.
Remember how Crafton lost the lead here in the spring? Someone went around the high side of him. It just happened to him again.
I just don't think he has the truck right now to run with Johnny Sauter. That truck has gotten better and better all night long. And look at Johnny open up about 5 truck lengths.
And now Hemrick is going to get on and challenge the 88 of Crafton.
Just think, Phil, a lap ago, Matt Crafton was locked in if he could have just finished where he was. Now he's only 1 point to the good, and he's racing Daniel Hemrick for that 1 point.
Remember, Hemrick isn't in the chase any longer. He was eliminated in round 1.
But he can take points away from Matt Crafton, and that's exactly what he's planning on doing here. Crafton just sticks to the bottom, Hemrick around the top.
It's the last lap at Texas. Hemrick challenging Crafton for second. Out front, it's the 21 of Johnny Sauter. Round 2 of the chase, and Sauter is going to go 2 for 2. Johnny Sauter wins at Texas.
We wondered who had the short run speed, and it was Johnny Sauter.
He said, how you like me now?
His 3rd win at Texas Motor Speedway. Johnny Sauter back to back after winning last week at Martinsville on the short track, comes back on the 1.5 miles and is going to take it to victory lane.
And I think they're going to take that truck to Homestead too, guys.
That was the plan. Let's see if we can polish it up a little bit after Texas and take it to Miami. That Allegiant truck was flying.
And again, guys, for GMS, win again. That's 3 in a row for GMS Racing.
Be careful with your burnouts, Johnny. We're going to race this truck one more time this year.
Sauter already advanced with that win last week, but winning tonight takes away another possibility, another opportunity for one of his fellow chasers and championship contenders.
And that means we're going to at least have 2 guys point their way in, so points become way more important now.
Look, I mean, the points are so tight right now. I think there's less than 6 points that separate 4 of our guys.
Sauter wins, and Caitlin's with his crew chief.
Yeah, Joe Shear Jr. just telling me, I can't even believe it, but how does this win give you an even bigger boost of confidence as you look towards Homestead?
Well, I can't, you know, we've been working really hard here to get to this point, and everybody at GMS has been working really good, you know, and stuff like that. It's just the momentum. We just hit the momentum at the right time at the end of the year. We've been working on our setups and stuff like that, and everybody's doing a phenomenal job. And I can't ask for anything better than this. I mean, this is outstanding. 2 in a row here going into the last races. We're on a roll. It feels really good.
Congratulations.
I love Joe Shear, too, coming on the radio telling Johnny, take care of it during those burnouts because we're taking that one to Homestead. Oh, fireworks, celebration, burnouts. Johnny Sauter's kind of night at Texas. Johnny Sauter back to back in round 2. He started off with that win at Daytona to start the season. And then at Martinsville last week.
Put a whooping on him at Martinsville, and then here he waited till saved the best for last, huh, Vince?
What a finish for Johnny Sauter. Caitlin is in victory lane.
Well, Johnny Sauter has won 3 times this season and now 3 wins also at Texas Motor Speedway. Johnny, how does it feel to have this kind of momentum at the perfect time in the season, and the right time?
Man, I just, this is amazing. I can't thank the Gallagher family enough for giving me this opportunity. We finally won one for Allegiant Travel and Alamo on the truck this week, and can't thank Chevrolet, ECR, Horsepower. Thank all these guys at GMS Fabrication, all the guys at the shop. Joe Shear, this truck was awesome on a long run, and I knew when we qualified 16th, I was like, it's no big deal. But that's beer. Beer smells good and tastes good sometimes, but just awesome pit stops, the whole deal. And I knew today in practice I was downplaying my truck to everybody. I was like, oh, it's not that good, it's not that good. But they dropped the green flag and the thing was sideways, but it just kept going forward. And I'm like, well, don't tighten it up too much. But just can't thank everybody enough. I thank the Blessed Mother and the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And I don't know, feel very lucky to be here.
Talk about that last run and chasing down Matt Crafton for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, Matt was content to keep running the bottom, and I made a couple runs there in that restart. They got me great track position on the pit stop, and I just kept bottoming the splitter out on the short run, and I just could not fire off. And I kind of had that problem all night. I thought we put a little air in the front tires to remedy that, but Matt just kept running the bottom. I'm like, well, I'm going to the top. And I was pretty successful on the top down in 3 and 4 all night long, and just big momentum. So this is a great truck. So I got to apologize to the fans for the burnout. I know it was lame, but I got to have this truck for Homestead.
Congratulations. Johnny Sauter makes it 2 for 2. Vince?
How about that? Both races here in 2016, the one in June, and then tonight, the winner led only 6 laps and passed Crafton for the win in the final 5 laps.
The same way, Michael, you talked about it, around the high side.
Check this out, Vince. We got 4 guys racing for 3 spots, and there's only 6 points that separate them. You got to go to Phoenix. Just like we said, you come to Texas. You got to go there and try to win, because somebody is going to be out by just a little bit.
And that's why they created the chase, right?
I love the chase.
Oh, me too. I love this format as well, too. I mean, look at William Byron, 2nd points going to Homestead, right? You think he's going to have an easy week? He's going to be as nervous, can be as well as everyone else on this list, other than Johnny Sauter.
And Ben Kennedy's got some work to do, but anything is possible within striking distance.
Johnny Sauter said he did a lane burnout. He hadn't done anything lame in 2 weeks, has he? Drove straight to victory lane.
He parked it again, 2nd week in a row. Johnny Sauter, the winner tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Had a little fender rubbing and door banging, some tempers flaring a little bit after the race as well. We'll show you that when we come back for the post-race show. Don't go anywhere. We return to Texas Motor Speedway, where Johnny Sauter is the winner.